Yes, hi, hello, how's it going? You know, I had like two separate, totally different scripts for how I wanted this video to go. And in the end, I just always came to the same conclusion that none of this really mattered. Like, I could spend hours just defending characters, making showcases, describing why someone is good, despite people only wanting to see more damage, bigger damage, stronger damage, more, faster, bigger, stronger, better. But, like, it doesn't matter. Do we really have to care so much about how strong someone is when we already have Wizardel? And even before we had her, we also had Milanar, Texas Otter, Ray and Typhon. And that's not even mentioning the other powerful characters that people would always talk about for years when it came to strength. Let's think about this logically, right? In a strategical sense. Yeah, sure, you can absolutely try to brute force a stage by only picking damage dealers, but that isn't everything that Arknights can provide, and it shouldn't be the only thing that it provides. So do you go and add even more damage still? Yeah, I think this team needs a degen breacher. Arknights isn't all just about dealing damage. If you want damage, you already know who to turn your head towards. Stop looking at these jacks of all trades, at these niche characters, at these supportive characters with unique playstyles, and expect them to do the same thing that other characters have already been able to do for years. Viviana did more than just damage. She always did more than just damage. But for most people, they just didn't find value in these other aspects of her kit. And it's a shame because these other characters get released who do such unique and interesting things with really exciting and fun gimmicks to play around, and nobody is using them. Silent Salter has one of the most powerful skills I've ever seen, being able to make any one singular character invincible for 10 seconds, providing a massive shelter and healing allies in her range constantly for a very long time. Silence is amazing, extremely fun and exciting to use and learn. Stainless is also absolutely one of the best designed characters in the game. Each skill provides massive benefits that you want to play differently with him, allowing him to be used in a multitude of different situations and supporting any character in different ways, depending on what you want out of him. Dorothy is also extremely addicting. Using her is like playing a totally different game. Again, with each skill being equally valuable and providing different benefits depending on scenarios. Each skill also has its own skill ceiling. Dorothy as a whole becomes stronger and more valuable the more you use her and understand her. And actually, you know what? Madre mía, yo amo a Thorn Celostra. Este hombre es completamente diferente comparado con todos los demás. His S1 is extremely fun and really enjoyable to use. S2 is super strong and makes really funny sounds.
Dr. Probes, functional. Corazonix.
But the timing when to use it really matters, since sometimes you want it to be thrown in a specific direction so that it stretches outward to a totally different place. And S3? My goodness, this skill has such an insane skill ceiling. I can't even begin to describe how difficult it is to understand this skill. I'm still trying to understand how to learn it and use it, and man, I can't wait for when I get really good at it. Because damn, it's so fun. Like, it's really good, but it's so hard to use well. Dude, there's so much more to Arknights than just dealing massive damage as fast as possible with minimal effort. If that's how you want to play, go ahead. Why should I care how a stranger on the internet plays their single player game? Because again, none of this ever mattered. Viviana is a lot of things. She's an arts damage source, has very long range, multi-hits, has barriers that block instances of damage from melee hits. She is an ideal character for one-on-one fights. She exceeds at being in the front lines, right up the enemy's face, continuously getting barriers to nullify enemy damage and chipping away at the enemy. And I just never really understood why people whined so much about her. I've met a number of people who genuinely only wanted to build her after she got this module, and now they realize how powerful she is. And I look at them, I notice how positive suddenly everyone is about her, and I'm like, ugh. I'll give it credit, it does make her an absurdly good burner, but like this is exactly what all the people who complain about characters not being meta DPS were begging for. But deep inside I'm just sad that now she will probably never be known for what she used to provide. So just for some context, right? If you don't know Viviana or the arts cards very well, she is a 6-star arts card, same class and rarity as Surtur and Vina Victoria. Surtur used to be the meta character back in the day, dealing absurd amounts of arts damage and even ignoring enemy resistance passively. Vina Victoria is a true damage fiend, benefiting massively from being paired with high block count allies, who can tank loads of enemies for her to deal high amounts of rapid true damage at them. And she has a good number of interesting synergies that can be really fun and exciting. And Viviana is the defensive iteration of the 6-star arts cards. Some arts cards have an interesting mix of damage and bulk, with characters like Estesia and Sidoroka being really defensive while also dishing out quite respectable damage, and Viviana is the same as them. The main thing that sets her apart is her chance to gain barriers that block melee damage when fighting elites or leaders, being capable to completely neutralize massive threats. You don't need to worry about your Surtur inevitably running out of health or your Vina Victoria running out of time with her S3. Viviana plays a lot slower, but lasts for much longer than any other ADS fighter. She benefits massively from staying on the field as long as possible. She is there to stay and not go down. Once her S3 is up, you don't really need to worry about her. And even when her skill is on cooldown, the chance of her gaining shields is still noticeable. She does also take less damage when there is an elite or a leader within her range. Plus, her stats aren't half bad to begin with, considering she has 1 block. Now, the whiny little brats in the front row seats right now are probably foaming in the mouth, screaming and yelling at me because saying that she either doesn't do enough damage or that she can still die of skill if her barrier energy doesn't work out correctly. And to that I say, you dumbass. Obviously. Do you seriously think I just deploy someone and never think about them ever again? I don't use Mountain or Rhea for this very reason. I don't need to have a team of only 5 characters that work perfectly well independently from each other. When I build a team, I want my characters to benefit from each other as much as possible. Because that's just fun to me. Am I the fool for wanting to strategize a team and that has multiple moving pieces that interact with each other, rather than tossing 12 different individually strong characters that do not engage with any other one? If Viviana lacks damage, Pramanex and Ak suddenly become much more valuable. If there is downtime and risk factors to when her S3 is on cooldown, Silence, Roberta and Sculptor are incredible characters who can guarantee her survival when she needs extra time. This is what a defensive playstyle is. Viviana is a defensive character, benefits massively from supportive skills that further enhance her defensive attributes. The same goes for Gavion and Estelle. You can choose to buff their damage output to make them deal damage faster before they inevitably die, or you can buff their defensiveness to prevent them from ever going down, so you play it a lot slower but guarantee everyone stays safe and alive through everything. And personally, I have found playing defensively a lot more enjoyable. And if you are one of those people who think it is a waste to build supportive or defensive characters and never find a reason to use them, I want you to go ahead and tell me how many 6-star snipers do you have built and have not used in the past 4 months. It's not a problem if a defensive playstyle isn't your thing, but brother, everybody just judges a character based on their individual strength purely in a vacuum, not considering possible team combos or strategies that make someone stronger. Like, obviously Viviana won't look strong without her module if you don't strategize a team that encourages her to go crazy. Is that really a bad thing? Is that what makes the character bad? Should we tell people to not use a character that encourages them to play the game in a new and different way? Viviana is an awesome character. The fact that I was losing out on damage really didn't matter to me, because Viviana was a lot similar to using someone like Eunectus. And oh man, I love Eunectus. These two are extremely high and some of my favorite characters of all time. The amount of time I put to learning how to use them is absurd. And I've seen the value that Viviana can bring way before her burn module came out. And I know I haven't talked much about the module, but that's because I don't think anyone watching this needs to hear yet another guy saying, "This module completely saved Viviana. Meet Viviana to pick Viviana. You should build her now that she has her module." You can go watch someone else if you need someone to tell you how to play the game. I just like yapping. I love Arknights. I love trying out whatever crazy and stupid ideas Hypergrip decides to throw at us. And it just makes me sad to see most people just aren't interested in experimenting. Viviana, burn module or not, is an awesome character, and you should try her out, burn module or not. Yeah, sure, the module makes her deal significantly more damage, but realistically, against massive threats with huge HP or resistance, she's still doing what Viviana has always been doing. Viviana is a character that does things her own way, not trying to compare herself to anyone or be better than anyone. Instead, she takes huge benefit in being paired with various different characters because of the way that her kit works. She makes other characters much more valuable. And now that she has a burn module, she now has yet another synergy added on top of everything else that she already had. This is what a jack of all trades is. Being a master of none isn't a problem, because by being a team around these different aspects of her kit, you can truly make her do the impossible. And I know this, because I've done it. This is Viviana, and she is different. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later, alligator.